Did you quench your thirst?
Yes.
This is Jason.
This is Kailani.
And you're here for the Word for the Night podcast, episode 33. And we're back. It's been a while.
Way too long, I think.
I don't want to say how long, but since we've last recorded, quite a bit's changed.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What has changed? What's one of the major things that's changed since then?
Being engaged. Getting engaged.
We got engaged shortly after our last podcast, which is to say quite a while ago. It's one of those embarrassing things where your engagement ring needs to be cleaned every 6 months, right?
Yes.
And today was the third time we've dropped it off since I've given it to you to be cleaned.
Yes.
But, you know, rumors of our demise, my demise specifically, were greatly exaggerated, and we are still here. And we've seen a lot of things, done a lot of things, and we're going to cover a few of those things on tonight's Get Back episode, the reunion episode. We're getting the band back together.
Yeah, you know, I can't wait to see what you come up with.
Well, with these scenes and things, we just got back from a trip, which we seem to do around this time because this is around your birthday time, and you want to be away from home base as much as possible on your birthday.
I know. I don't even know what that is, but people ask me, but I don't know.
I don't think we have been home for your birthday in close to 7 years.
Yes.
Yeah. Crazy. But it gives us a chance to watch things on the plane. And on this plane ride, we decided to totally watch separate things. Because I was not interested in watching anything you were watching and vice versa.
Right.
I don't fly very well, so I have to watch something very, dumb to take my...
No, you watch stuff that's violent.
I watched James Bond.
Is that not violent?
Well, what were you watching?
Nothing violent.
You were watching Twisters.
Well, that's not violent.
To me, I mean, we're in an airplane and you're watching something like a natural disaster. I don't want to watch anything disaster related when I'm flying, especially over the ocean for 5 hours.
But James Bond bombs things and tears
James Bond
buildings
is
down.
an absolute fantasy. So that's why I watch the Mission Impossible movies on the plane and shit like that.
Twisters.
I have to watch something I've already seen because I can't really concentrate on the movie. Because
Well,
you know
I
me, I
guess
don't
Twisters
fly that well. But Twisters, you watch Twisters. I haven't seen it yet. I'm curious what your review of Twisters is. Now, why did you pick it? Was it because Glenn Powell was on the cover? Come clean.
No. I mean...
So you were such a big fan of the earlier version of Twisters that you had to see this one? Because let me tell you what, when this was out in the summer, you brought this up to me and asked me if I wanted to go see it, and I told you no, the first one was shit, and I was pretty confident this one was going to be shit. And then you brought it up one more time while it was in the theaters, and then you watched it on the plane. So, curious what drew you to that film.
I don't know. I just don't know many things about hurricanes and how they act, and to visualize it, yeah. I don't know.
I think those are tornadoes.
Oh, whatever they are.
Yeah, but that's why they're Twisters, but at the same time, why
What did I call them?
They're hurricanes. But I mean,
okay.
that's because there was a lot of hurricanes recently, particularly where we were at. But was it any good?
No. It was awful.
You made it through the whole thing.
Yeah, I watched every single bit of it, and it was very predictable and underwhelming.
Well, it was a huge hit, and you said at the end, the whole girl deciding on the guy thing was...
There was no love story. I mean, there was a love story, but there was no ending to it. It's like she didn't pick anybody.
Was that because of a sequel, or is that because it was like an asexual movie?
I would say asexual.
Yeah, it's odd, because the first one at least had a love story between the guy who was with the ex-wife, and then was getting remarried, and then goes back with the ex-wife. But other than that, we watched a good Netflix documentary called Zodiac, in his own words. Freaks me out because we're Bay Area people. That happened very close to here. The lake that we go to every summer is where he committed one of his murders back in that era. So and the Zodiac movie, the Fincher movie, scared the shit out of me. Coincidentally, or conversely, one of our good friends' family members was one of the investigating cops on that case initially, and he had always said that they knew who the guy was. They just couldn't pull the trigger, which was this guy. And they had kept him under surveillance the rest of his life and basically made his life living hell. Rightly so. Did this documentary freak you out? All these ones that take place around this area freak me the fuck out.
I asked myself that question, and I really don't get freaked out by it.
You're a sick puppy. You're a dirty little dog.
No, I mean, because now none of that could really happen,
Let me tell you what. I think they said there's something like 70-something active serial killers in the United States right now.
Yeah, but every house has camera systems. Everybody's being recorded.
I will say a lot of these documentaries we watch about serial killers in that era, that shit would never fly today because of the technology they have, the fingerprinting, the DNA, all, not even fingerprinting, that's just junk science now, but, all the, like you said, DNA and forensics has gotten so far, and with recordings on every house, every car, I mean, they can access. We watch these shows and they go to... How many times did we watch a documentary like The First 48 or something, and they go to one of those liquor stores or a building nearby, a gas station, hey, let me see the security footage of that from the other night, and they go, oh, that's just for looks.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think that a lot of that shit's just for looks on people's houses and in stores. All right, lastly, I got to bring something up. I don't know where you guys stand out there on eating in bed. But I would like to know, because I got to bring something up. When we were on vacation, do you recall? I was, giving you a kiss, saying goodnight, and I looked down and there was a chocolate stain on the white sheet. Do you remember what you said to me?
Yeah. That happened like on the first night.
This was like our last night there. And I said, oh, you got chocolate on the sheet. And your words were, yeah, that happened when we first got here. I was hiding it, and you just noticed now.
Because I know you that well. I didn't need the entire trip to be about it,
To be about eating in bed?
Yeah.
I mean, the old saying, I wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating crackers, definitely applies to you, my love. But I wouldn't kick you out of bed for eating chocolate.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're the best.
I really try to be. And you're the hardest worker I know. Until about 9 p.m. when you then have me do everything for the rest of the night. Because you're not moving another inch, and I will have you go, get me this, fetch me that. I think I need more of this. Please turn that off. How much of a battle was I having with that TV in the room?
I mean, rightfully so. That TV made no sense.
It made no sense, but to just stream to it or to throw to it, I was having a breakdown with that thing. When we were trying to watch Saturday Night Live, and it was just buffering. I kept telling
you, babe, just let me figure it out. Go watch your movies, do your thing. But no, you still wanted to fight it for whatever reason.
Because I will not be beaten by a piece of shit LG flat screen from 2019.
I was worried you're going to have a heart attack.
I was fucking worried I was going to punch the fucking thing. I hadn't been that irritated at an inanimate object in a long time. Not cool, bro. Not fucking cool. All right, lastly, we saw something, or I brought up something to watch, and I didn't think that you'd be that interested in it, and I think you were more interested in it than I initially suspected, which is the Frank Sinatra miniseries from 1992, titled Sinatra, the Man, the Myth, the Legend, I think, or the Hero, or some shit like that. It was a huge hit at the time, had a double CD that was released. My parents bought that CD, so I was very familiar with that miniseries, which we also owned on a double tape set. We watched it on YouTube because we found it on there. What'd you think?
It was fantastic. I was completely enthralled with every bit of it. In fact, I loved Frank Sinatra, and some of my family did too. I never knew he was a jerk, though. I always looked at him as like the king. That's what he was looked at, the king of,
I mean, that fucking documentary, or that mini docudrama, definitely was more of a, they say warts and all portrayal.
Yeah.
It was a lot of warts. It wasn't even that much good stuff he had done in his life. I mean, they really breezed over it, and I liked it a lot, but I think that it was very hard on the man. I think they were trying to deconstruct the myth of him and show that he was fallible, but we all knew he was fallible, and they glazed over a lot of the things he had done with Sammy Davis Jr. and breaking down racial barriers at the time and all that kind of stuff. There was one scene that alluded to it, but it was like 7 scenes about his breakup with Ava Gardner. And I don't know, I thought the guy who played Sinatra did a good job, but I think that's a story. I know Scorsese has been trying to get that a real version done, a theatrical version for years. Would you be interested in seeing another retelling of that?
100%.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's really good. You know, I also want to mention something about Elizabeth Taylor, the HBO docuseries or tapes. I highly suggest watching it.
That's something you watched on the plane as well, an HBO series.
And the only reason why I did is because the Frank Sinatra movie or TV series, whatever we just watched, was amazing. So I was like, oh, that is, I need to find out about Elizabeth Taylor's life. And it was actually pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'd like to see. I didn't see that Elizabeth Taylor thing, but I was looking over and I saw you were watching it. I know a fair amount about her life just through the making of the movie Cleopatra and all her love affairs with Burton and Eddie Fisher and all that stuff. But the Sinatra thing, I do think that a good retelling of that is due. And maybe next time not be so harsh on it. I want you to see The Rat Pack, which is a 1998 HBO movie.
I remember it.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw all of it.
It's much better in that, like, it's got better talent. Ray Liotta plays Sinatra, and it's got a real director.
He was a big alcoholic in that one too. Like, he was kind of a jerk.
I mean, Sinatra's kind of an alcoholic. I mean, that motherfucker was drinking every day. What do you call it? I mean, back then that's just what they did. You walked into a room and someone just handed you, it seemed like a glass of something dark.
Yeah.
I mean, in every show and movie from that era, I don't really know if that's real life or not, but like, we watch some of these old shows and everyone's got a cocktail in their fucking hand, if not a cigarette in their hand too.
Yeah.
I always wondered that if you're playing a character that smokes cigarettes, do you think you get hooked on cigarettes while you're playing that character?
I'd imagine so.
Because that dude smoked in every scene.
Yeah.
And that was like a 6-hour miniseries.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's what we've seen recently, and I can't think of anything else to bring up in terms of something that we've seen that really stuck with me. Oh, I know something. Saturday Night.
Yes.
The SNL movie. Mm-hmm. What'd you think?
I really liked it. It was a little bit busy for me, to be truthful. I know that's your favorite, but sorry to break it to you all before he did, but I really liked it. And when we went back and looked at the first episode of Saturday Night Live, oh my gosh, those people did those characters so dead on. It was amazing.
Yeah, the movie I think is my pick for Best Picture of the year so far. I haven't seen Anora or a couple of these other contenders that they're saying that are out there, but from what I've seen, that's my number one pick of the year. So Planning Horizon, and I think that it was unbelievable. I mean, I was so into it that you were grabbing my arm and kind of, you had your head on my arm, but like I had my biceps so flexed that for like 4 hours after the movie, I couldn't straighten my arm right. I gave myself tendonitis with how into that movie I was. I got wrapped the fuck up, and the dudes who are playing Aykroyd and Chase, I think, are going to be nominated for Best Supporting Actor. And if they're not, they're going to be knocked out by, a real big name, because those guys were fucking fantastic. Even J.K. Simmons, who played Milton Berle, the old guy, who has that great scene with Chevy Chase when he's kind of flirting with the girlfriend. Mm-hmm. That's a great scene in the movie. One of the many great scenes. Also,
the guy who plays, what's his name? The main guy.
Lorne Michaels.
Yes, did amazing.
Yeah, the kid from The Fabelmans. I mean, everybody did. Even William Dafoe as the station manager who they were battling with, if they're going to go on or not. Really, really good movie. So highly recommend that, even though it tanked and you probably have to wait to see it on Netflix or one of these streaming services, but it's worth your time. And I think if there's any justice, it should be nominated for screenplay, Best Supporting Actor categories, and possibly cinematography, because that camera never stops moving. And to choreograph all that, it's a hell of a directing job by Reitman. Better than anything he's done with these Ghostbuster reboots that were not very interesting. Well, my love, it's been fantastic talking to you.
You as well, my love.
I mean, we don't get to talk enough. We just came off of a vacation where we spent a lot of time talking, and I'm glad that we had things to talk about on air.
Yes.
As you can see, you're full of words.
I've talked this entire time.
You did a good job, and we're going to be talking more. We'll be back with episode 34 in less than a year and a half. I can promise you that, guys. You do not have to wait 18 months for the next episode. These are not Star Wars installments. They're podcasts. All right, guys, that'll wrap up our episode. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye.